Hello dear listeners, welcome to another journey throughout the nooks and crannies of the human psyche with Curiosities. I'm your guide through this fascinating world, and today's episode will be somewhat different. We'll pause for a moment to look at contemporary society from a slightly different perspective. Today, we talk about a phenomenon that seems to be increasingly common, yet often remains invisible to the naked eye: the declining empathy among people. This topic is close to each of us because it touches on the essence of what it means to be human. What is empathy? Why does it seem that we are losing this ability to feel and understand the emotion of others? How does the digitalization of our world affect our interpersonal relationships? And most importantly, how can we act together to counteract this? Buckle up, because this will be a journey that might change the way we see ourselves and others around us. Not so long ago, at the times of our grandparents or even parents, the world was a place where interpersonal interactions took place face to face. Gaze, smile, and even gesture were the daily currency of emotional exchange. Today, in the era of the internet, smartphones, and social media, all these quiet signals are replaced by screens. Convenient? Yes. But is it healthy for our inner emotional world? Let's look at the statistics. Studies indicate a drastic drop in empathy among younger generations, with a simultaneous increase in narcissism and self-interest. What happened? Where in all this the human, his emotions, needs and feelings? Live example. Imagine a situation. Someone falls on the street. How many people will walk past not paying attention, and how many will stop to help? And now let's transfer the situation to the virtual world. How many times have we seen posts expressing sadness, pain, or even depression, and scroll past without even leaving a word of support? Causes of the decline in empathy: obscurity and distance. The internet gives us a sense of security behind the screen, but at the same time, dehumanizes interactions. It is easier to scroll than to stop and respond with heart. Information overload. We are bombarded with an endless amount of content, which can lead to emotional fatigue. When everything screams for attention, it is harder to notice what's important. Upbringing and education. In times when academic results and individual achievements are prioritized, discussions about emotion and feelings often take a back seat. Yet empathy is not an innate trait, it is a skill that can and should be developed. Dear listeners, empathy is the glue that binds our society. Without it, divisions, misunderstanding, and even conflicts are easy to arise. In the next part of our journey, we will look at how we can revise this trend and work together to build a world where empathy regains its rightful place. Causes of empathy evaporation. We return to our discussion on empathy, this delicate fabric connecting human hearts and minds. We wonder what contributes to its disappearance in today's world. How did it happen that this fundamental human trait is becoming increasingly difficult to find in our daily lives? Digital distance and anonymity. Let's start with the internet, this gigantic, inexhaustible source of information, which has also become the area of our social interactions. We've replaced face-to-face conversation with text message exchanges, but Have you ever wondered how this change has affected our ability to emphasize? Story. Imagine Anna, who shares her experiences of a full day on social media. Instead of conversation, she receives a series of reactions, from hearts to sad faces. Quick and feral gestures meant to express sympathy, but can they replace the depth of a true conversation, a look, a touch? Information overload. There's another aspect of our digital reality that makes empathy increasingly a luxury: information overload. We are flooded with countless pieces of content, making us emotionally numb. When everything seems urgent and important, it's hard to find space for true, deep understanding and compassion. Reflection. Think about how often we scroll through our feed, seeing dramas and tragedies next to trivial memes and ads. Does this constant bombardment of our senses make it harder for us to stop and feel empathy? Again, upbringing and education. We can forget the role that our homes and schools play in sharpening our empathy, and upbringing focused on achievements and the pressure of success often comes at the expense of discussion about our emotions, feelings and needs, both our own and others. Example, think about how often in our childhood we were encouraged to talk about what we felt, how often we taught that understanding others' emotion is just as important as acquiring knowledge. Dear listeners, the causes of the decline of empathy in our society are complex and multidimensional. Digitalization, information overload, and the way we are raised and educated all contribute to a picture where empathy seems to be at a risk. But this is not the end of the story. Each of us has the power to change the state of affairs. In the next part of our journey, we'll see how we can work together to rebuild empathy in our world. Remember, dear listeners, at the heart of every change lies a choice. The choice to be more conscious, to open up to others, to exercise empathy like a muscle that grows stronger with every use. Pathways to rediscovering lost empathy. After a deep dive into the causes of empathy erosion in our digital world, it's time to steer our steps towards the light. How can we rebuild what seems to be lost? Is there room for true empathy in the age of digital access and emotional numbing? The answer is yes, and it's these possibilities we will discuss today. Social initiatives, building human bridges. A world of opportunities lies before us to tighten the bonds that empathy can build. Social initiatives play a key role here. Organizations, support groups, volunteering, all these are tools that bring us closer to each other, allowing for the building of deep empathic relationships. Story. Think of Marci, who joined a local volunteer group, working with those in need. Direct contact with their problems and joys helped him understand others better. This experience changed not only his view of the world, but also himself. Education, the key to empathy. Education is our most powerful tool in shaping future generations. Incorporating programs focused on developing social and emotional skills can revolutionize the way young people view themselves and others. Example, a school that organizes workshops on empathy, understanding emotion, and non-verbal communication. Students learn how important it is to listen to not only to words, but also to feelings. This is a space where empathy can flourish. Family, the first school of empathy. We must also not forget the role that family plays in shaping our ability to empathize. It is at home where we learn the first lesson of compassion, support, and understanding. Parents and guardians can be role models showing how to be empathetic in everyday life. Reflection. Time spent with family, talking about feeling, sharing experiences. All this makes up the foundation on which empathy is built. Dear listeners, empathy seems to be in deficit in today's times, but it is not lost. Through social initiatives, conscious education, and building family foundation of empathy, we can reserve this trend. Everything starts with individual choices. The choice to be more present, to listen actively, and to open your heart to the needs of others. Dear listeners, we are nearing to the end of our journey throughout the realm of empathy. It was a journey through a world where empathy seems to be endangered. But as we discover together, it is also a world full of opportunities for its recovery and strengthening. I hope this episode not only provided you with new perspectives, but also inspired action. Remember, each of us has the power to build a better, more empathetic world. Together, step by step, we can make a change. Thank you for being with me. See you in the next episode of Curiosities. Your psychological advisor, David Karol Kołodziej. Bye.